Let's talk about sort of Labour's week that they've had. I mean, each week that passes seems to get worse than the one before. This week they passed into law the fact that pensioners now will be much poorer. They will have their winter fuel benefit withdrawn. There were cheers in the Houses of Parliament as Labour voted that through, which I thought was particularly unnerving and particularly tasteless. They've now said that actually they never did any risk assessment whatsoever on what would happen if they did withdraw this money. We know that they did their own study back in 2017, which projected that they could lose as many as 4,000 lives if they did it to pensioners, if the Tories did it to pensioners back then. They've also now admitted that this £22 billion black hole that they keep talking about is not necessarily accurate. They've said they can't answer an FOI question from the Financial Times because the Treasury is still adding up the numbers and they don't want to give it out.
Look, it surprised me how quickly the wheels are coming off the bus of this government. I knew they weren't going to be very good, and we warned about that through the election.
Yeah.
But it all come apart this quickly has been a bit of a surprise. You know what? Sitting in the Commons the other day when we had the winter fuel payment debate, it is an absurd policy they have come up with to save £1.1 billion whilst giving out £14 billion in inflation-busting pay increases to their union paymasters, the train drivers who already earn 65 grand. And my inbox is absolutely full of emails from pensioners really scared and worried about how they're going to afford the heating bills this year. We're talking about pensioners on £13,000 income.
Right.
It's a callous, cruel act that this government has chosen to scrape around for £1 billion by taking it away from the people who need it the most. And yet to have watched Labour MPs cheering as they won that vote is something that I think they're going to come to regret very, very deeply.
Yes.
And now, as you say, when we find out they didn't even do an impact assessment, they didn't even try to work out how many people would be left cold, how many people might actually get to that heartbreaking position where they could lose their lives because they're unable to heat their homes. It just shows that this government doesn't know what it's doing at all.